If you wanted to prototype an idea for an existing product, but you didn't have access to its code base, that's basically what I did here. I built a paper prototype in Paper, which is kind of funny when you think about it. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I did it, some of the decisions I made along the way, and how you can use the same process to prototype ideas for pretty much any web product. So this is the prototype. Now to show it's the prototype, you can see there's the link. So everything you see over here, I basically did the prototype, and when you click on this, you can add flex, which changes everything over here, and also the grid feature, which I worked on. You can do similar thing over here. Now let's get into how I built this. Let's go straight into Paper. If this is your first time hearing of Paper, I use this a lot. It's a design tool, basically. It uses HTML and CSS in the background, right? So whatever you see over here, that's like HTML and CSS. And the reason is quite simple. When it comes to building products with AI or agents, they are very good when it comes to HTML and CSS. So with Paper, it makes it easy for the agent to translate whatever you have. And that's the value prop. It has more features, but then that's basically it. So what you see over here is some of the explorations I did, but then before I get into it, how did I even get this in the first place? Now they have this cool feature called Paper Snapshot, and let me show how that works real quick so that we understand what we are working with. All right, let's pick linear. I like linear a lot. This is the snapshot, Paper Snapshot. I click on it, and as you can see, I have the option to grab everything or just grab certain part of the product. Now, if I want to get this whole design, I just need to, sometimes I think one of the things that I really wish it could be done differently is the selection. So it takes some time before you can get it. So anyway, I got this. Now I'm done. So I can go back to Paper. Let me just paste it over here. Now the cool thing is everything you see over here is editable, right? So it's not just a screenshot. So you can edit this, you can change this if you want. So change this if you want. And yeah, that's how I got the entry points for the product. So I did a snapshot of Paper, and there's it. Everything over here is editable. What I did was I wanted to work on a feature that they had in their roadmap, which was CSS grid. But then their current product, they didn't have it. So this is what it looked like over here. It was just the flex. And my thinking was, well, grid is similar to flex in terms of the behavior, but it's not necessarily flex because of the columns and rows you are dealing with and the flexibility when it comes to playing with grid. I just made a tweak. I added an entry point, also added a keyboard shortcut you can use, and that's how I was able to kind of play around with the idea of the CSS grid, what I needed in that particular option. So if you come over here, you can see I did more settings, explorations on the grid settings and how it would look like. And I got all of this from grabbing snapshots of some of the sections that I really liked. You can see this thing, which is item position and grid position. That's something that I grabbed off a particular design in the product, and I just did a snapshot and I got it. In terms of how far you can go with this, so some of the designs I did it myself. So something like the grid, I did it myself because I wanted to sell the idea. You can see that over here. After I was done with this exploration, I needed to now build it, and that's where Claude comes in. This is my chart of what I did and what I was able to come up with. Now, when I started, obviously it came, I think I want to see the parts. It started, yeah, so I got this initially. All right, let me just zoom in. So I got this initially and I didn't like it because in the initial prompt, let me just go to the initial prompt. All right, so you already know how it works. I'm trying to get CSS grid, blah, blah, blah. So I did a lot of assumptions over here and I let it go with it. And that was my bad. I mean, I should have known better. So after that, I told it to stop because the design doesn't match if you have to use React Vits, because it was using normal HTML and CSS and it wasn't really good. So I made it do the React, and yeah, it was able to come up with something solid. Now, you remember I said with Paper there's HTML and CSS and everything, but then you can also copy as React CSS, you can copy as Tailwind and everything. So that's like how I was able to get it done. Now with GitHub, obviously you need GitHub set up. With GitHub, you can set it up with the AI. It can walk you through. That is if you want to learn how to go about it. And after that, you are basically done. All you need is just prompting, and you are pretty much set. So in the prototype, I did a lot of things. So I did the part where if, let's say, I want to have 3, it changes, right? If I do 2, it changes. I can also do 3 over here. I can change this to auto, and immediate. I can do fix too as well. I can go a step further by changing the columns in terms of, okay, I want this section to be fixed. And as you can see, the setup, like this preview is just showing you what you are doing. So because they're set to 120, that's why you see this column in that 120. If I'm to do similar thing over here, you see it's being affected, and you immediately see it in the prototype over here. I can play around and get more, so I can move between this. I can basically try and mimic what an actual bento grid layout will look like, right? So obviously you can do more with it if you have any other tool that you feel like, oh, I need to get like a snapshot of it. You can easily bring it over here. So this brings me to the end of this video. Catch you in the next one. Bye.